Hello everyone, Street W here. If you noticed, I have to remake the Breakup Breakdown, since the first review about this episode actually had a copyright message on it. And since you all remember when I told you about the copyright message on and the strikes, well, I decided to remove this episode of the review, not to risk to take another strike. And the reason why it appeared a copyright. It appeared that Hasbro detected I used an image from the episode itself. So I decided to remake the episode's review with a fan-made picture, rather than using the official one. And I have to say, I was not prepared for this, since I had uploaded several other episodes reviews over time recently, but none of them had any copyright message on it. So I must just wonder why use this episode review and not the other ones. But who knows? But anyways, I thought this episode was something unusually good. And yeah. And wow. Breakup Breakdown. Another Horse Hooves Day episode. Well, since the first one was not what I expect, and also, this is the first episode with Sweet Sugar Belle and Big Macintosh together since season 7. We hadn't even expect what happened between them since they became a couple in the season 7. In the episode when we first saw that Big Mac was going to Starlight's old village so often with apples. And we know for a reason why. That he had a crush on Sugar Belle, the local baker. But more from this, Big Mac was preparing for his special hooves day with Sugar Belle in Ponyville. He was looking forward to this day, but most from all of this, I did not expect that the title itself. I mean, Break Up, Break Down. A title it seems a little bit odd, but at the same time is well funny for some part. I can understand the title with the name Break Up. I thought, okay, is Big Mac going to break up with Sugar Belle because it doesn't even work, that she lives so far away, and that he had found some other pony more closer? Or is it something of the opposite, that she had found another pony in her home village? Well, in the breakdown part, I thought, okay, is one of them going to have some depression or something? No. I didn't expect to see Discord being part of this episode. No. When I first heard about this, read about this episode and even saw the leaked episode from Hasbro, well, since they were hacked last year about this, but I didn't expect to see Discord. And when I saw him walking around with this Spike through town talking about Hearts and Hooves Day, I thought maybe that Discord was going to have his special day with Fluttershy since he spent a lot of time with her. I thought maybe this could be as an official sign that Discord and Fluttershy are dating. But no, no sign, no confirmation as ever. But considered to be this, it might be a possibility that they are dating, but who knows. But even with this we can see when Spike and Discord is in town, seeing Sugar Belle is already there, talking to Mrs. Cake, and Spike thoughts that she's going to leave Big Mac for some other pony. And when he tells him, he is heartbroken. But he didn't exactly believe it, so he follows with Spike and Discord to see if it's true. And sure enough, but in confusion, he believes that Sugar Bell is telling Mrs. Cake that it is over between her and him. And he takes it very much hard. That like any other ponies or any other people would take it hard when they found out if his or her partner is thinking about ending the relationship. But who knows? But I don't even think that even be considered, since I thought that Big Mac and Sugar Bell was actually work together as a couple. Since over the past 7 seasons before he met Sugar Bell as a couple, he had never been dating any other pony, except at the part when he was love poisoned with Miss Shirley. But rather from that, he has been shipping with other ponies like Miss Shirley, Pinkie Pie, not Applejack, he's his own sister. But for most of this, he has been shipping with other mares over time, and even some stallions, but no, but yeah. But after that, Big Mac is heartbroken. Discord snap his fingers and actually send him to a bar, and Discord is wearing a suit and a fedora hat, and even brings one to Spike and even Big Mac. That was actually kind of good touch for the My Little Pony staff. I think to at least bring up some part of this understanding how some pony feels when they feel heartbroken, even down. I think it is a lesson of this episode that it might be possible for any other ponies or other people, especially children, who learns about relationships, even though it's based on of ponies. I might get off topic here, but you might get the picture what I mean. Even when Big Mac earlier in the episode was baking a pie for that Sugar Bell is coming to town for a celebration. But since that he was baking the pie, it felt forever. And Spike gave an idea to use Discord so he can make it faster, but they didn't exactly how to summon Discord. Until Spike remembers his, and again I quote, the guy night. Since the game night they get together, since then, it seems that Discord actually falls in like of this role-playing game which is Spike and Big Mac is often playing. And that at least Discord is acting or is like appeared almost like Legolas from Lord of the Rings. But to see Discord's face and expressions that the disappointment that he thought they actually summoned him for another time for a gaming for this game. But no, it turns out he was so disappointed that he was the only you summon him because he want so he can use his magic to enhance the speed of the pie in the oven. Well, I was kind of sorry for Discord that part. And to see that Discord when Spike in town, he wasn't feel any understandable for this much holiday. But yeah, I can see from Discord part, since he has been around for 1,000 years, and previously I don't even expect him to even like this kind of holiday. But he might celebrate it with Floodshine or Celestia at some point or somehow, but we don't know sure. And ever since this is the second episode, well, since after the first Hearts and Hooves Day episode. The first one was not one of my favorites. It has some good funny moments, but I think this episode is more mature and even more romantic part. And even to see Cubic Mark Crusader is part of this episode as well. And especially that Sweetie Belle thinks that some pony has sending her a pie for, or at least to be her special some pony for the day. It turns out the pie was actually misplaced and was sent to Sweetie Belle rather than to Sugar Belle. I don't know if the post service is sometimes sharing out the wrong letters or package. It's possible, since our own world's post service can be sometimes messing up their deliveries. But it's possible. But my thoughts about this episode went to see that Big Mac's heart is crushed, but he believes that Sugar Belle is going to leave him to be some other pony. He thought that he and that they are a good couple, they have so much in common, like they both love each other so deeply, and I can understand how Big Mac is feeling about this. I truly do. I have been heartbroken so many times. Well, I know for sure how he felt. And I is talking about most of my own experience. The feeling that be heartbroken, it is nothing to be funny to talk about. I mean, no. It is something that it isn't a funny thing about. And especially when you really care for someone so much, even if you have been together for 6 months to a year or 2 years, and perhaps talking about someone day to settle down, start a family, and then suddenly hearing that your girlfriend or boyfriend is not in love with you anymore and want to end it. I'm from that part. I can tell him from experience, it is painful. I don't know if any of my viewers or fans out there have been going through the same experience as me or some Big Mac or has. But anyways, considering from Big Mac's point of view, I didn't expect him to be so much heartbroken. Over the past seasons, we haven't even seen him in this kind of emotions. All we have seen when he was time when Applejack took care of all the apple trees, and even he doesn't speak much. But the point of lesson in this episode is actually communication, trust. Not to make any conclusion in a head, not until you realize, until you have put all information in input. It's like a puzzle. If you listen to one part of the story, to one part of the conversation with some pony, like if, like for example, that Spike heard Sugar Belle with Mrs. Kate, he was spotted that she was going to leave Big Mac, but he didn't hear all the conversation between them. So that is just one problem. If you don't have heard all their talk, or at least some part of the understanding what they talk about, before you make any conclusion that she or him is going to leave her or his partner. No. But even then, love is a very strong emotion. People can take it very hard. Some can be so deeply emotional. Some can enter into depression. Others can take it very hard, or others sometimes can take it very easy and move on. And from point of view from Big Mac, he took it seriously hard about it. Since this was his first official relationship he has ever had in this show history. I can see how he felt that he believed that Sugar Bell is ending the relationship for some reason. But later he realized communication is the key part to make a relationship to work. And yeah. And even to see later in the end of the episode that Sweetie Belle is actually near the clubhouse. He's sad and never found out who was her special song pony and especially who sent the pie. Or at least, no, wait a minute. She didn't get the pie, but she wondered who could be her special song pony. Then that Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle Apple arrives with the pie to cheer her up. Which I can understand. But inside the pie they find the letter from Big Mac to Sugar Bell, so they realized the pie was actually for Sugar Bell, not for them. But to conclude all of this, well, I have no idea how to expect this episode to turn out. So much confusion, so much heartbroken minds. Well, apart from the first episode of A Hearts and Hoops Day, this takes the more experience from that episode. It takes a completely new level. But even to see that Big Mac is arrived in Ponyville, and even the end of the episode that he realized that his fear that Sugar Bell is leaving him, it is not what he expects. No, it isn't. Since he doesn't talk much. So about that, I just was wondering, since they spend so much time together, and he sees just all saying nope, yep, nope, all the time for an answer to Sugar Bell. I do wonder, what are they mostly talking about when they are together? Who knows? But I think that Big Mac and Sugar Bell are really seriously meant for each other. I seriously do. But I can understand from this point of view from the writers and Big Mac to point us to stand out to showing how much confusion that if you don't even conclude all the answers, all to realize that sometimes you can't make any fast conclusions if you don't have all the facts, all the information about something. No. Before you even consider to say that someone has said something to you or about you, ask the friend who have been talking about it if they was talking about ending the relationship or something. But for most part, trust and communication, it is key parts of a good relationship. If you don't listen or even start any communication with your partner at all, it might lead this relationship to fail. And you might learn from your experience of the failure of the relationship. But listen, communicate with your girlfriend or boyfriend or fiance or your wife or husband, anything. Communication and trust is key parts of a good, healthy relationship. And what do I think about this episode? Well, it was actually much better than I expected. I will give this episode an A+ rating. And I would like to hear what you think about this episode, if you think it could be better, or even if this is probably one of the worst episodes that you have seen, or if this is even better since the first Harps and Hooves Day episode. Well, everyone, as always, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, this is Swedish Travel over and out.